Welcome to another episode of Discourse. On this episode, we've been held hostage and we're going to be ranking and reviewing every Nickelback album.
This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story. This time I'm mistaken for letting you out.
My name is Nathan. Joining me, as always, is Kyle. And also joining us, a very special guest, a longtime friend of the show, one might say, returning for his second round in the Discourse. We got Mikey from the Gloom in the Corner. Mikey, welcome back. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Or this morning in your time. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm still waking up, so I might be a little bit slow to the punch, but I am still here, enthusiastic.
Yeah, because you're doing this at a nice crisp 8 a.m. in your time.
Yes, and it's very cold because it's Melbourne and it's winter. So actually, it's not too bad. It could be worse. I had worse Melbourne winters, but
How cold does it get out there? And please use Fahrenheit.
I was about to say I might have to pull up a Fahrenheit calculator. It is currently, I want to say it's probably like 40 degrees right now. 46.4. I was so close.
You were close there. I'll give that to you.
I mean, yeah, I had to kind of learn what it was when we came over to the States earlier this year. And I was like, I can't explain this to people. This is cool.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, yeah. I am enjoying this conversation more than my listen through the discography. And this conversation is tough.
Yeah, this will probably all get cut out, but that's all right. So, longtime fans of the show and people who follow us on social media probably are familiar with who you are. But for anyone who might not, or who maybe clicked on this episode because they saw Nickelback and got excited, can you give us a quick rundown of who you are, what you do, and maybe a little bit about your band?
I'm Mikey. I'm an avid Nickelback lover, as is the rest of the members of my band, The Gloom in the Corner. I'm here standing patron to defend my list and what is probably our list as a band as well. They'll rip me for that one too. We're a metalcore band from Melbourne, Australia, hence the funny accent and the weather difference. That's about it. We play funky, cool music with orchestra and stuff like that. Is that a good way of putting it, Nathan?
I think so. I mean, I think that kind of hit the nail on the head. And unfortunately, I might have to keep the Fahrenheit Celsius discussion in because you did mention y'all recently came stateside for, is that your first tour over here?
Yeah, it was our first tour.
And, we actually met face to face at the Dallas show.
We did.
Which I might also add was a phenomenal show. Y'all were fantastic. And I was just wanted to ask, how was that tour experience for y'all? Did you have a favorite city to play in? You don't have to say Dallas.
I mean, to be fair, like we did love the Texas shows. Like what did we do? We did Dallas, Austin, and where's goes through there? Fuck. I said I'm still waking up.
The third major city of Texas.
Fuck.
Was it Houston?
Yeah, it was Houston. That's it. Thank
you.
Homeland.
where Kyle and I are both from originally.
I'm sorry. But yeah, no, it was sick. Like we had a great time. It was fun being the opening band that wasn't completely deathcore. So for anyone who doesn't know what that tour was, it was Angel Maker, Humanity's Last Breath, and Psycho Frame. And for anyone who's ever listened to our band, you'll know that we're the only band on that lineup with clean singing. So that was fun.
A pretty heavy set, though.
We did. We had to pull some old ones from the back catalog, which didn't have a lot of clean singing, to try and appease people, or at least appease like the majority of the crowd that would be there and not know us. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was kind of like our way of sending off like a lot of those songs as well. So probably Dallas was probably in at least my top 3 or 4 of the cities that we went to.
We'll take it.
Mainly because I got to go see where JFK got popped. That's been a bucket list thing for me. Point at the big X in the middle of the road. Yeah, no, it was a good fun. We had some van issues, so we hit a deer coming back into the country. Gosh. Yeah, we hit a deer at like 2 a.m. and didn't get across the border until like 6 a.m. That was cool. But aside from that, yeah, no, we had a great time. It was an amazing first American tour. Like we were kind of scared going into it, wondering how we were going to go and everything like that. But we couldn't be more happy with how it went. We can't wait to come back soon.
Yeah, I was also, okay, how are people going to react to the Gloom in the Corner on this deathcore bill? But the crowd seemed really into it at the Dallas date, which was super exciting to see. And I actually was talking to a couple people there that were like, yeah, I mean, we pretty much came because of the Gloom in the Corner. And I was like, honestly, same.
Based. No, we had a few people like that on a few shows too. Iowa as well was actually really surprising. We got told that that show was going to be pretty rough, and it was one of the most energetic and fun shows of the tour.
That's sick.
But yeah, we had a lot of people coming out that have been listening to us for a long, long, long time, which was really cool. I was kind of expecting it, but like not in the same, like not in the number of people actually rolled out.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of people at every show being like, we've been waiting to see you guys for a number of years, and it's really cool to
For
see
sure.
you. And I'm like, damn, that's weird.
Well, I mean, when you're in that, I mean, I was in the same boat for sure. It's like, how many opportunities am I going to get to see the Gloom in the Corner stateside? And so you gotta take them.
Hopefully more now.
Hey, I'd love to see that. The more the
Please.
merrier.
Yeah, there was people coming up to me being like, "Oh, I started listening to you when I was in high school." I'm like, now I just feel old. I'm like, what do you mean? You look like you're only a couple of years younger than me. I feel old now. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm not. I won't. I will spare you telling you when I started listening to you.
I started listening when I was like 18.
And how old are you now?
26.
Damn. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you feel any better. I only turned 28 the other day. So.
Oh, heck yeah. Nice.
There you go. All right, Mikey, I do got to ask. Y'all played a new track on this tour. Can we expect some new Gloom tunes to hit streaming soon? And if so, what can we anticipate?
Hopefully, this has been a long point of discussion for a lot of people. We've been playing that song live since like November last year.
It's a beater. It's a great song. It goes hard.
Thank you. It was meant to come out before the States. Before we did the run in the States. We just had a few setbacks here and there. It should be out soon. What's the date today? We're aiming for a September release. So
perfect. That is so exciting.
Yeah, because we have a run coming up in November. So we should be starting a rollout of some description by then, or at least I would hope. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my mind. It's taken a long time to get this album together for various reasons. But hopefully by then we'll have something out by September. That's the aim.
That's what I like to hear. All right, Kyle, do you want to ask the classic Discourse question?
Yeah. Mikey, what is it about Nickelback that made you want to spend a couple hours on a podcast to talk through their 10 albums? What do they mean to you?
They're such an interesting band, right? And like I've grown up with Nickelback, just from it being on radio play and stuff like that too. Like, all credit where it's due. I didn't really give them that much of a time of day until I probably got a little bit older, like probably 2019, 2020. And I like went back and started like re-listening to stuff too. And like a big pointer of that was actually talking to Paul, our bassist, about it, because he loves them too. And it kind of made me go back and re-listen to a lot of their discography again, or properly sit down and listen to their discography. And to be fair, like as far as like a lot of like radio rock bands go, like I guess like nowadays equivalent would probably be Imagine Dragons. Like they have some riffs, dude. Like they have a lot of heavy sections. They have like a lot of different unique, well, I wouldn't say unique, maybe unique is a wrong word, but like a different way of like dispersing what they sound like compared to a lot of other bands. Like Imagine Dragons, you hear the same song 10 times in one record. Whereas I feel like Nickelback, I mean, we'll get into this further once we start ranking the albums, but I feel like for a lot of their discography, they do have quite a diverse kind of sound, which is really interesting to me considering you look at the history of that band and their trajectory and stuff like that too. I actually recently went and watched that Netflix documentary that they put out like a year or so ago. Or maybe it was this year. But I didn't know like a whole lot about the bands, kind of like what I did with Parkway, until I actually kind of watched that documentary. And a lot of their history and stuff became a lot clearer once I watched that documentary too. And it is like a bit of a propaganda documentary. Like I will give it that. Like it's trying to paint them in a very good light. But that's also because like they were, as they kind of said in the documentary, they were like the ground zero for like cyberbullying an artist on such a grand scale. And it seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. Like everyone loved the band. I had like one of their songs from Silver Side Up was quite literally played like every 3.5 minutes on the radio across the United States for a solid like 4 weeks or something like that. Like that's a lot of airtime to be taking up. And everyone seemed to love them until they just didn't, and everyone decided that it was cool to hate Nickelback. And I think that's kind of like what kind of gravitates me towards them too, because I always like, you know, I'm a big person of liking things that people don't necessarily like within reason, of course. And I think like Nickelback kind of just gets this hate that is really kind of undeserved, to be fair. And so they are kind of like a little bit of like an underdog, I guess, in that sense, where they had to kind of rebuild, I guess, to a certain degree, you know, their image and everything like that, because they just got fucking slammed by everyone online.
Yeah, they decided to rebuild their image by making Get Rollin'.
Yeah, we'll talk about Get Rollin'. Don't worry.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right.
Yeah,
all right,
it is
no, that's
interesting. Nickelback gets a lot of hate. Some of it is deserved.
Some of it is deserved. I will give it that. Like it's not like we'll get into it when we start talking about the albums, to be fair.
People just love to dogpile. And I will say we'll probably do some dogpiling tonight.
I will.
I
will absolutely be doing some dogpiling. I'm gonna be at the bottom of the pile.
Or top of the pile, which way you look at it.
Yeah, you're right. I messed up that. You know what, folks? Nathan, recut this episode. Quit the recording. Let's keep it moving.
Real quick, before we get into this ranking, can I just make myself another coffee real quick?
Yes, please.
Yes, granted.
Please do.
Please. Okay, I'm going to need it to be active in the discussion. Give me 2 tips.
I love it.
Nathan, you want to do the shout-outs real fast?
Yeah, great idea. If you want to join the discourse and follow us on social media, you can follow us on Twitter at discog_pod, on TikTok at discogdiscourse, and on Instagram at discog.discourse. We also have a Patreon for anyone interested in supporting the show financially. You'll get bonus episodes like the one we'll be recording with this episode, where we determine the top 10 Nickelback songs that we all must agree on before we can put the episode out. You'll also be able to vote on what bands we cover when we don't have guests. And as you'll hear later, our second tier donors can actually read off their rankings on the show. Also, if you could be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on, that would help us out a lot. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff so you never miss an episode, and so on and so forth, etc. And as always, we do have some tweets we want to shout out. If you want to shout out in the next episode, all you got to do is quote our rankings and give us your takes. These shout outs in particular are from the last episode where we covered Sleep Token, another butt rock band. 2 butt rock episodes in a row for all those butt rock enjoyers out there. This first one is from Ferdinand at Ferd9D. They said, if they asked me to rank Sleep Token albums, and this is, I had to include this because it's so funny. They expanded our rankings graphic and put all of them in 5th place, which is actually super funny. And I thought that was a great quote, and I wish it got more attention, so I'm giving it attention now. This next one is from Big Biscuit at Hail Sucks. They said, Take Me Back to Eden in first place across the board is wild, when Sundowning is literally their best album. And that's just objectively incorrect. And Jeff is not here to defend Sleep Token, so we're going to keep it moving.
Yep.
This last one, Mikey, is that you? Do you have thoughts on Sleep Token while we're here?
I mean, I listened to the snippets that you put up of your takes of that band.
Yeah,
I think like I definitely get where you guys are coming from to a certain degree, but I'm also someone that does love Sleep Token too.
Okay. We needed you
Yeah.
here on the last episode then, because Jeff needed some backup.
Oh, really?
Now I'm not as much of a hater as Nathan is. I enjoy some Sleep.
I know. I
Token
was
as well.
surprised, honestly. I thought it was going to be you, Kyle. Like,
Yeah,
if
you know,
anyone.
I'm glad I can make some surprises every once in a while.
Yeah, reputation precedes you, I guess. um, yeah, I was like, I definitely get why, and like, I feel like the reasons for the discourse, I guess, were like, I definitely get it. Like, it's justified. Like, I don't necessarily get like the Imagine Dragons argument that people make. I think
Mhm.
it's kind of stupid. I think that
Mm.
like they're much better songwriters than Imagine Dragons. But
Agree.
I would agree with
that
that.
being said, the last album was a bit of a miss for me. It came out when we were in the States and I got a couple of chances to kind of spin it. And to me, strictly speaking on that album, it's kind of like, I feel like they wrote like a bunch of songs and it doesn't necessarily go together well as an album. But if you're listening to the songs individually, then I can kind of digest them a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, they're an interesting band for sure. I do love a lot of the music they write. I surprisingly do love Homie's vocals, even if they do get kind of clowned on a little bit. I think there are much worse artists out there, as we're probably about to discuss.
Yup.
No,
There
I'm
are definitely worse artists out there than Sleep Token. Sleep Token is
Yeah.
honestly like what Nickelback was in terms of the band that everyone kind of dogpiles on.
Or I wouldn't say that. I think there's a lot of hate for Sleep Token now, because they've kind of hit that trajectory point of like, you're gonna have people that are just gonna talk shit about them,
Yeah.
regardless. Same thing with Bad Omens. Same thing with Falling in Reverse. Same
You
thing
can't
with.
say that name here.
I know, but I got to put them in the same kind of conversation. Unfortunately, even though I do believe the hate is justified.
Yeah.
But they're copying like the clapback that like every band once they reach that kind of level gets. And for every person that hates them and talks shit on them on the internet, there's 10 people going to the shows and spending $200
for
on
sure.
merch every night.
Yeah.
And that's what I was about to say. It's the same thing with Nickelback, is that like a lot of this hate is kind of perpetuated online. It doesn't necessarily echo the sentiments of like the rest of a general fan base or rest of a general public. Nickelback is kind of the first one that I've seen that, or in history, seen that did start creeping into the public quite a bit, where it's like, even just in general conversation, people be like, oh yeah, like I hate Nickelback because like they suck. And you go, well, why do they suck? And they're like, oh,
I
because
just
they
don't
write
like
bad
it.
songs. And you're like, have you listened to this song, this song, this song, this song? And they're like, oh yeah, no, like they're okay songs. I'm like, so you don't hate them, you just hate them because everyone else hates them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, have you ever actually like sat down and listened to a Nickelback record? And they're like, oh no, not really. And I'm like, maybe you should actually give it a crack. Like, whereas the Sleep Token thing, because it is like kind of in its own niche kind of spot musically to a certain degree, like I can see where it could piss people off.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because, like, to that point about, like, have you ever listened? We get so many comments of people saying, like, this guy's clearly never listened to a full album. This guy's never listened to anything. I'm like, oh, you must be new here. This is, that's what we do. And even the other day, I put out some kind of, I think we put out a tweet kind of saying, like, oh, I don't like the, it was Bad Omens, actually. Like, hey, if you didn't like Bad Omens before, this new song isn't going to change your mind. And they're like, what, did you listen just to hate on it? And I was like, well, no, I was doing my due diligence instead of just blindly hating. Like, I don't want to come out here and say something and then go and listen to it and be like, oh, actually, I kind of like it. But yeah,
I haven't
anyways,
listened to the new song. I haven't
It's
listened
fine.
to the new song yet. I've seen the snippets. It sounds like a Bad Omen song from what I've heard.
it is. I mean, it's
cool.
a Bad Omen song.
Also, your list, Nathan, and Jeff's list, I'm seeing the Sleep Token one now. That is the correct one.
That's fine.
Yeah, for
Sorry,
sure.
sorry,
I
Kyle.
It
didn't
is.
realize this
Well-
is the Sleep Token episode.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we got one.
Sleep
We got
back.
one more. We got one more shout out that we have to do. And they said, finally listen to Sundowning and the 1-2 EPs. Here's their list. They put Take Me Back to Eden at 1. This Place Will Become Your Tomb at 2. Sundowning 3, Even in Arcadia 4, 1, 2 at 5. And they said Take Me Back to Eden is the only record I'd say is above a 7 out of 10. Honestly, can't even hate on that because I kind of agree. But maybe that's even a little more generous than I would be. But like Kyle said, this is not a Sleep Token episode. This is a Nickelback episode. So we're going to talk about Nickelback. And Mikey, we do have one more thing. You are doing a Nickelback show here in a little bit.
Yes, I
Tell
am.
us about
Yeah,
it.
I forgot to mention that before. So,
I got you.
Stay Gold, which is one of the venues in Melbourne owned by Destroy All Lines. They sometimes do cover nights, and it's me, Clinch, our drummer, one of the guys from Run, one of the guys from Melancholia, and one of our other mates on guitar. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of All the Right Reasons by Nickelback by performing it in full, plus a couple of other songs. This will be the only chance that you get to see me get up in a wig.
Oh boy.
Yeah, no, like we all love that record, and when we got hit up to do it, we were more than happy to. It was funny, we were actually meant to do a Markham one last year, and that kind of fell through just because of touring plans and stuff like that, which I would have loved to have done. But I'm also very happy to be doing the Nickelback one. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's perfect for you. I'm happy for you that you get to do that.
I'll film it and send it to you, don't worry.
Thank God.
I will watch it in full. All right. Housekeeping's done. We plugged everything we need to. Actually, Mikey, where can we find you on social media? That was a lie.
You can find us at the Gloom in the Corner with a V instead of an E in corner on Instagram, or on Twitter, we're TGITC band. I'm just Mikey.Gloom or Mikey_Gloom on Twitter. I post horrible takes. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd as well, I'm also Mikey_Gloom there. I post horrible takes.
Do I follow you on Letterboxd yet?
I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's really weird with Letterboxd because people will set their names to this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I don't know who you are unless it's exactly what your name is.
Okay, well, I just followed you.
See, I wouldn't get that. Like, actually, no, yeah, you got your face there. I would have guessed it.
I got my face there. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk film later. All right. Now we're done plugging everything. Now we can get into the discourse. And if this is your first episode, welcome. We're glad you're here. I'm a little surprised you're here. Unless you're a big The Gloom in the Corner fan, then that would make sense to me.
Hey, to be fair, you did ask Twitter. You did ask Twitter when we did the Parkway episode.
That's a fair point to bring up. This is happening to us because when we had Mikey on for Parkway Drive, I offered Mikey. I said, "Hey, well, you actually brought up Nickelback initially as a band to cover, and I was doing everything I could to not let that happen. And I said, hey, let's do Parkway Drive first. So let's do that. And then if there's enough like audience reception and feedback to the episode, and like people are actually keen on a Nickelback episode, we'll circle back at some point in the future and do that. And you came to collect.
I did. I did.
Which is very fair, and as you should have. But that's so long. I think longtime fans of the show know that lore, but I'll bring it up again here for everyone who's listening for this episode. But the way this is going to work is Mikey's going to lead our discussion tonight, and we will go through his list one album at a time, going from 10 all the way to 1. And as he reveals where those albums are on his list, Kyle and I will also reveal where they are on our list, and we'll all have one cohesive discussion about these albums. So with all of that out of the way, it's time to get started. Mikey, what is your least favorite Nickelback album? There's quite a few to choose from.
That's rough. My least favorite Nickelback album is Curb. What?
I have that at number 6.
What?
Let me make sure I'm getting this right. I have that at number 7.
Oh, excellent.
What?
Starting off hot.
Uh-oh.
That's crazy.
And one of my notes on this album is that his vocal delivery is almost unlistenable, which does not bode well for the 4 albums I have below this one.
Yeah, the
So-
vocals are a little bit rough on here, but Mikey, I'm curious, what's going on?
That's probably like my main take from this album is we're talking about unique vocalists and everything like that before with Sleep Token. I think you can very much put Chad Kroeger in that realm. I think you listen to any album after this one, you would agree that his vocal delivery is exceptionally better. Like,
Yeah.
insanely better. It's not that he's a bad frontman or anything like that. I think it's just like there's some very odd choices on this record. I think like as well, like just maybe it's a nostalgia thing too, slightly, but also knowing the Nickelback that I know and love like now, it pretty much kicks in from like a couple of albums after this. This feels like a band that's very, very new and very, very rough around the edges, and the songwriting is like not really quite there yet. And a lot of it was really, really rough to listen to. Like, this is probably the only album on this list that I actually struggled to get through. I was like, oh, do I really have this much left of the album to keep listening to? So,
Wow.
yeah, which is a big thing for me. Like, if I don't like something, I generally like turn it off. I'll get like 3 or 4 songs in. I'll just be like, nope, this album isn't for me or anything like that. But I kind of have to do my due diligence with this and just be like, is there actually any song that I like on this record, or is it all kind of dog shit? And there is maybe like 1 or 2 songs on this record where I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy this, but it's like I wouldn't go back to it anytime soon. Like it's maybe like Push Up, Fly, and Sea Groove. Those are probably the only songs I'd maybe go back to. Everything else, I'm like, this is a. If we're gonna give any sort of respect to the Nickelback hatred that occurred, I'd probably be giving it to this album. Like, as much as it sucks to say, but it is, as I said, I got to give it like same discussion as what we had about the Parkway thing. Like, it is their very first album. It is very rough around the edges. They pretty much self-funded this album themselves. Like, again, I just don't think it's that good.
Yeah, and that's fair.
I agree. There are some like songs like Where you can't understand what he's saying. Like it's actually absurd.
That's the thing too. Like he does like the whole Creed thing. Like it sounds like bad Creed, and I'm like, what is happening? Am I having a stroke?
It sounded like he was like doing a impression of Eddie Vedder just to like make fun of Eddie Vedder. An entire album, like he's like making fun of Pearl Jam. It's unbelievable, and I do not like it. I agree with you. There are a couple songs I might go back to. Curb probably wouldn't be one of them because you hear the yeah like 3 times in that song. But Just For, I know they kind of remastered it and re-released it, but that's really the sole redeeming quality of this album is that song, and some of the there's like some good energy in some parts of it, but it's largely unlistenable.
Yeah,
See, now that's I don't think I'm as low on this as either of y'all are. And I don't know if part of that is like what my expectations were coming into a Nickelback album, or like listening to their debut. It certainly wasn't this, because like I have some familiarity with the band. I feel like you have to, just because of their cultural relevance as kind of hard rock icons, arguably the kings of dad rock.
Based.
But I was kind of surprised by how kind of grunge this album is. And it's not fully there, but there's clearly a lot of grunge influence on here. Instrumentally, it has that moody kind of atmosphere to it. And vocally, Kyle, I had the exact same note. It sounds like Chad's doing a little bit of a Eddie Vedder mixed with James Hetfield on here.
A bit of Scott Staff too.
It really works with this album, even though that's not like the Eddie Vedder especially is not something that I'm particularly drawn to. And while the songwriting on here is obviously pretty weak compared to some of the stuff they'll go on to do. I would say the first few songs are pretty enjoyable. I think Little Friend's pretty good. Pusher, y'all mentioned that earlier, I think is pretty good. Detangler's not too bad. From there, the album starts to feel really repetitive. And I guess I say that, but Falls Back On might actually be my favorite song on here because I really like the energy that that song has. And the main riff is kind of interesting. And I guess another point of influence I heard on here that I thought was really interesting. There are a couple instrumental moments that feel very Rage Against the Machine, which I did
Mm.
not expect at all. And Mikey, you mentioned C Groove earlier. Like the riff at the start of that song is so Rage. And
Mm.
I kind of it's kind of cool to hear that in Nickelback's sound. And I think what kind of pushed this up the list a little bit for me is I find it more interesting than some of their other, no spoilers, but potentially more recent albums, which feel like we're repeating the same formula again and again. And so, with that extra creativity, it just felt more interesting. It felt more different. There are some big misses on here. Kyle, you mentioned where the here I am in the chorus
Yeah.
is like laughably bad. Like that does not land at all. But I can appreciate that they're taking a big swing on here. Another
If
thing,
I can just,
yeah,
sorry,
pop
you're
in,
gone.
pop in here.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like what kind of like not amalgamates this album is like, as I said, like I watched a documentary like a few weeks ago, and pretty much how they started as a band was pretty much a band that just played like covers, and they'd all learn like 50 songs and then get up on stage and play them from like a whole heap of various different artists from across, from across the years. And I feel like that if you look at music at the time that they probably would have been covering, which is like, a lot of Rage. I mean, I can't speak of what they covered, but like, a lot of Rage, a lot of Metallica, like a lot of all those like hair metal bands and stuff like that too. But then also Pearl Jam, everything like that. It kind of sounds like a big, almost weird concoction of all those artists from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
even
really
even directly
does.
down to like, even directly down to where, like what he does vocal delivery wise.
Yeah, and honestly, that context kind of makes me enjoy this more. Like it's interesting to see all those influences kind of right up there, like in your face, and kind of a way that's like, okay, they're clearly trying to make a song that sounds like this. They're young in their
Mhm.
maybe songwriting career. You can clearly see what they're pulling from, and I think that's kind of cool. With the exception of Window Shopper, I don't know what's happening on that track. That is really bad, and like
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
it's not good.
production is completely different on that song than everything else. And the snare tone, I mean, we're busting out Saint Anger's snare here, and it is just really bad
Saying
to
anger
listen
before
to.
saying anger.
Exactly. This was the prototype.
Yeah. Lars Ulrich heard that and went, damn, that sounds like dog shit. Let's do that.
Yeah.
You're
No, I
like, you
mean,
know what? The worst song on
Put it
Nickelback's
in.
debut. Let's do it. So that was my takeaway from this album. I know that was a lot of kind of word vomit there, but it's kind of interesting. It's really different than I expected, and I think that kind of interesting angle to it really drove it up the list for me.
That's fair. I definitely respect that take. I'm just doing it purely straight from like a listenable basis for
Yeah.
me, I guess.
yeah.
And I think like
Mm.
I mean, we're going to obviously have some discourse about this, but I think that there is a lot better stuff that comes after this record, even if the amalgamation of influences is cool, but it's borderline unlistenable for me, unfortunately. Sorry, Chad, if you're
Hey,
listening.
that's fair. I mean, the way I do this is, how much do I personally enjoy the album in interesting
Mhm.
factor, or how interesting it is can factor into that. How just straight ahead do I like the songs can factor into that. So, this is all personal. This is all personal opinion. Okay.
It's all objectively correct personal opinion.
Exactly. Is there any other kind of opinion?
Exactly.
I don't have anything else on this album. It's,
Cool.
we don't need to park out on their debut.
No, we don't. Yeah, we don't need to park out on a lot of their stuff, to be completely honest. But
Oh,
You know,
here we go.
that's just my
Whoa.
opinion. This, like Nathan
Here we
said,
go.
nice little grunge album where you hear their influences from the last 5 or 6 years. But that's literally all I took from it. So
And it is really high up your list, which is very concerning. Oh
That is,
boy.
yeah, really concerning.
Well, Mikey, do we want to get one step closer to figuring out why it's concerning?
Yeah, let's go. My number, it's 9, isn't it? Yeah, my number
sure
9
is.
spot is The State.
Hey, that's consistent. I gotta respect that. That's just one up for me at number 6.
That's funny.
Hey, hey,
That is
we're on
funny.
completely different pages, but we're all on the same page here.
Yeah, we're all writing in like Sharpie or pencil or something else, or crayon. Kyle's case.
Sorry, it is crayon, and I smudged it. The State's actually
You
number 4
smudged
on
it.
mine, not number 5.
Oh,
Lots of
no, you
albums.
smudged it. That's
He smudged
crazy.
He shoved 120
What?
up his nose.
Yeah.
That's okay, bro. I'm out here sniffing permanent marker too. It's fine.
Yeah, true. I'm a glue man myself, but
Gloom?
Hell yeah.
yes, gloom and glue, like huffing glue out of a bag. So this album is, I think it got the production obviously that Curb desperately needed.
Yeah.
It's more mainstream, but that's what they needed to do. You can actually hear the inflection in Chad's voice throughout the entire album. The vocals, there are cool song structures. I think that this overall is, I was surprised by how positive I am on this one. Like I enjoy Breathe. I enjoy
Yeah.
Leader of Men. I enjoy Worthy to Say. I think Deep is a pretty good song. Like I think the harmonies and the atmosphere with the bass on Deep is, well, some would say deep, but I would say pretty good. So there are obviously misses. Like I think One Last Run is pretty unremarkable. I think they go back to some of their old ways and Not Leaving Yet with just kind of a chuggy nothing song. But I was very pleasantly surprised by the amount of songs I would have considered pretty solid on this record. And again, it just their songwriting abilities just increased so much. They've improved so much from their first album. And like I said, I think the right producer got into their ear on this one.
Man, that's so funny because the songs you just mentioned, I actually kind of like. They're the ones I gravitate to on this album. I think the second half of this is actually, noticeably stronger than the first half.
Disagree. Disagree completely.
I know, it's so funny. I like Worthy to Stay. I mean, you said you like that one too. Like the moody atmosphere there is cool. I think One Last Run has like fun production, especially on the guitars where they kind of keep it panning back and forth. That's a fun little production trick there. I really like the start of Not Leaving Yet. That riff has a lot of attitude. Kind of just feels like it's strutting around the dive bar looking for someone to pick a fight with. And it's easily the best riff up to this point in their discography. And granted, that's only an album and a half, but still, I like it. And then Hold Out Your Hand to close the album has another pretty cool riff in it. And so there are moments on here that I really like, and I agree completely. The production on here is better, the songwriting's better, and you actually kind of start to see Nickelback getting on the trajectory of, where they would obviously go. Because, I mean, the song that opens this album, Breathe, is one of the first moments where it kind of sounds like the Nickelback I came into this discography expecting to hear early on.
That's what I was about to say too. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to take that point from you. Do you want to say it?
No, that's all good. No, kidding.
Yeah. Do you want to say? Yeah. Why don't you defend yourself now that we've built up such a great argument for the State? I'd like to hear you tear the State down.
No. It's not that I don't dislike this album, and I feel like that's what we're probably gonna get into a bit going forward. It's just like it's the same kind of thing with Curb, where like, yeah, this is definitely the record that starts finalizing, I guess, the sound of Nickelback of what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that for me, like the way I kind of went through the discography was I pretty much started from All the Right Reasons, went forward, and then came back, with the exception of jumping Silver Side Up in there, I think. And that was probably not the way to do it. But I feel like that it's just one of those things where, yes, there are some great moments on this record. I particularly like Cowboy Hat, but there's also just like for what comes next, again, like a lot of it's just not grabbing me. And for once I can say I've listened to this record while actually like driving around as opposed to playing video games in the background like I did with Parkway Drive. And I generally pay more attention when I'm driving, which sounds really bad to say. And sorry to any pedestrians I accidentally hit on the way through or any red lights I go through. But I generally pay more attention to the music when I'm driving because I don't have to focus on the road and everything else around me. So I kind of digest things a little bit more. To me, at least, from my side of things and the Nickelback that I grew up loving, like, we're getting there, but there's just like a whole lot of nothing. There's nothing I hate about this record, but it's just kind of there in the background. Like a lot of these songs to me, like compared to what comes later, are pretty forgettable to me at least. And while everything is substantially better than Curb, yeah, it just didn't really grab me, unfortunately.
That's fair. I think there are definitely some. I wouldn't say the songwriting is strong on here. I would say it's a big step up from where they were, but there's still some rough listens on here. Particularly funny enough, I seem to be on a different page here. Cowboy Hat lyrically,
Cowboy Hat's not that bad.
it's not that bad. But like the AABBCCDDEE rhyme scheme that goes on in the verses, it feels like something you would hear on a band's first two albums. I'll put it like that, which is unfair because it is on their first two albums, but it just feels very surface level. But you're right. It's not that bad. Leader of Men is whatever. And then Old Enough definitely raised my eyebrow. And then I did some digging, and it's about a girl he liked that he was saying was old enough to move to Vancouver with him despite her parents' disapproval. But she's 21, so she's an adult, so she can do whatever she wants. Had to do some digging there just to make sure we covered our bases on that one.
Hey, that's above board. Chad is above board on that one.
It is above board here. You're like, whoa, chill.
When I first heard it, I was like, no way. There's no way this is happening right now.
I had the same thought. I was like, oh no, are we getting into fucking Guns N' Roses territory here?
And what you'll see later in their discography when it comes to songwriting is he does not improve at all, in my opinion. But that is okay.
I wouldn't say that.
Kyle, that's not fair. He gets better about his misogynistic lyrics.
It does truly sound like some of them like is just through the perspective of a 5-year-old. Like he sees the world through a perspective of like. We'll talk about that later.
We'll get there. But yeah, I mean, this album's fine. I'm surprised, Mikey, that you have these so low because I think there's some interesting stuff on here.
It's mainly that like it just kind of just didn't grab me. I don't remember half of the songs on this record, which is crazy. Bar say besides Leader of Men and Cowboy Hat and maybe Hold Out Your Hand, I don't remember a single song on this record.
Fair enough.
Leader of Men is a good song. The build throughout Leader of Men is awesome. I think.
Yeah.
Like that's a legit good song.
Okay.
All right, whatever. You know what? I want to hear it. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to give Nickelback the benefit of the doubt. All right.
Hey,
you're doing very well, sweetie. I appreciate that.
All right. What's next?
Number 8. This one I do have a bit more to say about. Is No Fixed Address.
She's a twisted trickster. Everybody wants to be the sisters, Mr. Coca-Cola roller coaster. Love her even though I'm not supposed to.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good take. This album is dookie.
Yeah. See, like while I think like a State and kind of Curb, I have Indifference on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna break the rules here.
No.
There we go.
You're flipping.
Yeah, I'm flipping. Now that I've thought about it a little bit longer. It's 8 a.m. Give me a break.
Hey, Mikey, that puts us on the same level here. We're both at number 9 with this album, so I'll allow it.
Yep. So what was the record before this in the list? It was Here Now. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, as you said, this album is dookie. There's not a lot of good things on this record. When we talk about Nickelback having, or the argument of Nickelback having really stale, boring, generic songwriting, it is amalgamated in this album.
Yeah.
Like the cheesiest of the cheese, the staleness of everything. It is in this record. There is nothing in here about this that really screams Nickelback. What I feel like it is because Chad does like a lot of songwriting for a lot of different people, and specifically like a lot of pop artists. They kind of went in a little bit more of a pop direction, and you can very much see it in She Keeps Me Up. Like that is a disco song. It's just straight up a disco song.
It's one of the craziest tracks in this discography. Like, I feel like we cannot move on from it yet. Like that song is crazy.
Yeah. The more I think about it, it's actually probably one of the only songs on this record that I like.
Yeah, it sounds like a Maroon 5 song.
Yeah.
The funk influence in there and like the disco, like it's completely different than anything they've done before. Which, you know, maybe there's a reason for that. But like that song, like it's almost so bad it's good. Like it is such an atrocity to listen to Nickelback put out a song like this, but it's so bad that it's like funny enough that you can like show your friends and have a laugh about it. Like this is, guys, you remember Photograph? Yeah, this is what they're doing now. Like, can you hear this? Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's not good. There's just like a lot of songs on this record that I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I feel like he's just like, fuck, we've got to put out an album. I have like a whole bunch of pop songs, guys. Do you want to chuck them out? Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
Yeah, he's like the million miles an hour with a kind of sick riff to open it up, but then they make him have like an alien voice overlay dub thing, and it's like, what are you guys did like the first thing I've enjoyed in 4 albums, and you throw it away. You throw it away with poor production advice.
I will also add in Got Me Running Around. It basically feels like the exact same song as She Keeps Me Up. And when I went to look up the feature, as I should not have been surprised that there was a rap verse on one of these albums.
I was about to say that's a very much like Sign of the Times thing too. Like
The song on Genius is described as a quote Latin tinged funkathon, which I thought was hilarious. It is, again, just like so bad it's good. And then you get the Flo Rida feature, which just comes out of nowhere. And it is just as bad as you would expect that marriage of artists to be.
It was certainly a choice. I said, like, as we were kind of talking about with some of the Parkway stuff, and we were talking about like, oh, I'm getting into this because I like the cheesiness of it. I said, like, I don't mind She Keeps Me Up. Like, the more I like kind of digested it, the more I was like, oh, like it's bad, but I can, if it came on, I certainly wouldn't necessarily skip it compared to some of the other fucking tracks on this record. Got Me Running Around as well was probably in that same boat, and I didn't mind Sister Sin from memory as well as a closer. Just a traditional Nickelback kind of slower closer from memory. But like, yeah, there's not a lot of good on this record. Yeah, I don't want to go down full Reverence Parkway Drive route again. Yeah, there's not a lot of redeeming things on this record, unfortunately. And I hate saying that because I said I love a lot of the rest of the discography, but this one's just a fucking huge miss, dude.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, like, you mentioned those songs, and I would agree, like, She Keeps Me Up is like, the most memorable songs on here are the ones that are delicious garbage. Like it is the She Keeps Me Up. It is Got Me Running Around. I also, unfortunately, Mikey would put Sister Sin in that category as like a huge overproduced arena country, like the Nickelback version of that. And it is just like, it is comically bad, but that almost the comic aspect of it almost makes it enjoyable.
The slight charm of this album is that it has no identity whatsoever. And the songs that make it have no identity, like the ones Nathan just referenced, are kind of what make it fun. Like kind of funny to listen to. Got Me Running Around sounds like a Smash Mouth song from the, like with the grooviness and the horns, and then Flo Rida goes in. It's like, all right, we're just having fun at this point. Like, what are we doing? I'm not listening to this to be serious now. This is just fun.
Smash Mouth clears, unfortunately.
Yes, no. That's why I said sounds like. I would.
Yeah, like, it's just
yes.
like the whiplash of going from Here and Now to this record was wild. Like
It's crazy.
It was wild.
It is pretty crazy. One, it's like there's songs on here that really sound like they're going for like a Coldplay impression with like the hammers coming down. Like that sounds like Nickelback trying their hardest to do Coldplay while adding in some of like the classic Nickelback isms, and it's just not good. Like it's in one ear and out the other. Yeah, it's this album is bad.
No fixed address, more like no redeeming qualities. Damn.
So true.
Boom.
So
no
true. You got
fixed
him.
qualities. All
No
right.
fixed qualities.
Uh-oh,
Sorry,
we're
Cat,
here.
again.
Yeah.
I think this is the funniest Nickelback album. There are songs that are funnier.
The funniest Nickelback album. That's a great way of putting it.
I don't think I agree.
There are individual songs that are funnier in Nickelback's discography. This is the funniest album.
You might be right, actually. Yeah, with the robot.
Yeah, dude.
The robot singing a million miles an hour.
Yeah, like that weird like pop synth that comes in. What are you waiting for? It's like man, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and like get him up. It sounds like a crappy classic AI Nickelback song, but it is about a robbery, which is kind of fun. Like that was a nice change
I
of
forgot
pace.
about that song.
That
I did enjoy Get 'Em Up. I did enjoy that song. I was like, oh, okay, I can. Yes, it's cheesy, but I can kind of fuck with this. And then it just went back to Coldplay core.
Yeah, and they said
I was like, bro, we were this close. It's like the fucking Breaking Bad meme where it's like, we had something so good and you had to fuck it up. And I'm like, yeah, this is no fixed address for me.
Okay, this song isn't inherently like in and of itself funny, but Satellite.
Oh,
The thought that someone has used that song as their first dance at their wedding is hilarious to me. Like when you put it in that context, like when I heard it, I was like, oh, someone has 100% absolutely used this song at their wedding, and that is hilarious.
yeah, second wedding to their second wife. That is great.
that's also their cousin.
Yeah, true. That's a great divorced dad rock ballad.
Dude, it's crazy. It's so
I would
funny.
argue that there are much better ones.
You're
Oh.
right, but but this one is we're about to get
This
to it,
album's
I'm
funny.
sure.
This
It sounds
album's
good.
funny, man.
Honestly, this album is pretty good. I want to move to my 5 after we talked about it.
The more I think about it, the more I
just for the
actually
comedic aspect.
I'm putting this at 5. This is a good discussion. I like that.
Oh my god.
I'm not leading the discussion. It has no bearing.
Oh shit! I've started a movement where we just swap around our choices halfway through the episode.
I'm not moving anything. I feel confident in my list, but this is the more I reflect on it, this may be the only album that veers into delicious garbage territory. Like they have other bad albums, but most of them are actually like kind of irritating. This one is so bad it's good.
Oh.
I agree.
I want to know what your number 10 is, Nathan. To be honest, maybe we're about to find out.
I think
maybe
it's
so.
probably
Really
pretty
wanna know.
obvious. I think Kyle and I are going to share number 10.
Ooh, you think?
Well, now I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. There's been a couple of curveballs that I'm kind of surprised at. Anyway,
Herb balls?
Um,
Curveballs.
I said it first. I said it
curveballs.
first.
You
I
said it first.
curveballs. All right.
Let's get rolling.
Yeah, really, it really is 9:11 a.m. for me.
Hey!
Hey!
Yeah!
Um,
USA! Alright, sorry.
That's a crazy call. Anyway, Paul's gonna kill me for this one. Feed the Machine is my number 7.
You just betrayed us. The moment we both been waiting, no one can say the words you won't believe until he's gone. Go on.
Ooh. Hey, you didn't have to do that. That's my number 5.
Hey, guy.
Yeah.
What?
Damn.
Kyle, number 2? Okay, that's
Really?
a bad take. That's a terrible take.
I mean, we're about to have it. We're gonna have it. At
We're
some
about to
point.
have a discussion.
It was hovering over the 3, and then at the final second, I put it at 2.
That's
I'm happy
ridiculous.
to kick things off. And you know, guys, this might just be because of the albums before this one. I didn't particularly enjoy. I didn't find much meaning. I honestly got annoyed listening to most of them. So Feed Machine coming on and just being an anthem after anthem of like Uncle Rock, Divorced Dad Rock,
Uncroc.
whatever you want to call it. That's what this album's got. They've got some bangers. Feed the Machine. The riff kind of rips. It is a great Uncle Rock riff.
What do you mean, kind of? It fucking rips.
Thank you. Yes, yes. Coin for the Ferryman. The lyric "We'll need a coin for the ferryman" right into the riff is kind of sweet. Like that song rules. I could see my uncle working out to that song. It's great. For the River, another riff that rips. The pre-chorus is pretty awful. With Chad's fast talking. But the chorus is kind of a head bumper. Like I found myself nodding to that chorus. The Betrayal, the Act 3, again, a pretty intense riff. I like the theatrics. It's a difficult song to kind of follow lyrically, shockingly. Chad didn't make it crystal clear this time for me. But like I thought then like the radio rock songs on here kind of stink. Like Every Time We're Together, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Home, not as bad of a radio song. Chad even has some slightly good vocal moments in the chorus. After the Rain is bad, Song on Fire is bad, Must Be Nice is not that good, even though it's like the fairy tale lyric stuff. And so when he goes, your life's a goddamn fairy tale after talking about Humpty Dumpty, funny. That's funny.
Dude, yeah.
Like that is funny.
Fuck.
I enjoyed that. That made me giggle. That's why it's at my number 2, because
yeah, same.
There's some funny moments, there's some atrocious moments, but you know. And to end it with the Betrayal Act 1, an instrumental song that's better than I'd say 65% of Nickelback songs. Sign me up. That's brilliant.
Dang.
I'll take that. I will take that. There's plenty of fat. It's nothing special lyrically or production wise, but like I said, banger after banger of solid divorced uncle butt rock, whatever you want to call it. Some head bumpers.
Crazy.
That's how I feel about Feed the Machine.
Look, I'm surprised you had this so high because of the Betrayal Act 1 being the closer. Closing on an instrumental track is like a cardinal sin on this podcast. We've talked about it multiple times.
Dude, I am willing to sin and speak to my judgment day with that one because I'm bracing for something that I hate. And after the albums that I listened to before this, every song I'm like, oh God, he's gonna talk about, you know, putting a woman on a bar again and like eating sushi off her body or something weird like that. I just want some good me versus the world stuff. And that's what I got here. So it's probably because I listened to every album before this the same day, but come on now.
So what we can say is this is your Parkway Drive Dark Skies for you.
Yeah, so. Probably.
So I have very mixed thoughts about this album. As said, I know Paul's going to kill me. I think Feed the Machine has like one of the hardest Nickelback riffs, and they have some riffs. There is no denying that they have riffs. Sorry, Kyle, but they have riffs. And Feed the Machine is one of the hardest ones. And I reckon the chorus for that song is great. What I think after listening to all of the albums and growing up with a couple of them is that you can kind of fit Nickelback into 2 or 3 genres, right? They have like the country stuff like Photograph or Every Time We're Together or Song on Fire. They have their heaviest stuff like Feed the Machine or Coin for the Ferryman. And then you kind of have the weird kind of other stuff that they sometimes do. But what I absolutely love about Nickelback and what I feel like that they can kind of consistently nail, which is why they are one of the biggest selling rock bands of all time, is because of the first 2. And after No Fixed Address, which was very much none of that, not a shred of that, they kind of start going back to what made them really big in the first place in this record. And I feel like it starts off very, very, very strong and very, very quickly goes downhill. Like after Must Be Nice for me, it's just like, oh shit, what are we doing? Like it's
really
going back into, but it's like,
really?
It's,
you don't like the
like,
Betrayal Act 3?
It's fine.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
wow. I
It's
think that's the
fine.
best song in multiple albums.
I think it's a good song. Yeah.
I do too.
It's a good song, but again, like it's for me, like it just goes straight off a cliff, like very quickly, which sucks because as I said, I think it starts off really well and kind of goes back to that Nickelback that I really like, and that's probably why it's number 7 for me. Like a lot of this, as Kyle said, them like ending on the Betrayal, which is, I'm going to say, arguably better than 65% of this album.
Oh,
It's pretty ballsy.
Oh, there you go.
But this was probably one of the few actual Nickelback albums that I hadn't listened to in its entirety. And after listening to No Fixed Address, I was like, oh, we started off so well and then just kind of went downhill. Fuck.
Yeah, I think this album starts off strong. We've already beat that to death. I think it also has a nice little run starting it For the River, Home, The Betrayal. Silent Majority is fine. It's generic, but
is
it's
it?
fine.
Is
Yeah,
it?
it's fine. I mean, it is a copy paste Nickelback song. Like, and the thing about Silent Majority that I like is the chorus is catchy. And I think there are quite a
Yeah,
few
that's true.
songs on this album actually that have pretty strong choruses. There's some pretty good riffs on here. Kyle, I agree completely. The Betrayal Act 3, I said it a minute ago. It's one of the best songs in albums that I've heard from this band when listening through chronologically. The verses and the melodies, like I really like what they're doing there. You said it, it's theatric. It has a much more grand scope than a lot of what they do. And it actually feels kind of dynamic. Like the chorus has a certain amount of thump to it. It feels big. The solo is really cool. Like that song is one of the standout tracks of the last 4 albums in Nickelback's discography. Like it is one of the brightest spots back here. And I will say, I agree completely. There are some real misses on here. I'm shocked no one's talked about Every Time We're Together because that song has one of the funniest lyrics in the discography when you take it in the context of the discography. When he says, all the girls we were with never cost any money. Chad, buddy.
Oh, I totally missed that one.
I've heard every album in this discography. There's no way that's true. I've heard every song. There is absolutely no way, unless there's a special Chad Kroger discount where you get some free action. There is absolutely no way.
Well, I think he's talking about, I think it's another Reflection song where he's talking about like going back to his home where the girls didn't cost money. But Chad Reflection songs are real funny as well. So
they are. Yeah, it's just, I heard that and I was like, yeah, right, buddy. Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's like, oh, bro.
I can't wait to talk about Chad's lyricism. I can't wait. I'm so excited, dude.
So thought-provoking. Anyways, yeah, I mean, y'all hit most of my thoughts on this album. I think it's pretty solid, if not a little repetitive with stuff they've done before, but it's almost like it had been a little while since we heard it in their discography. So that's why it kind of rings out a little bit as nicer, in my opinion.
The album cover is also about as ass as it gets.
So
I would like
generic.
to say that.
So generic, but it's whatever.
It was the blueprint for AI cover artwork.
Yeah.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, man. All right. Keep it moving.
That's all I got. That's all I got for Feed the Machine. It's fine.
All right. Now this is where it gets a little dicey. I'm excited.
I'm very curious.
Right.
Kyle, you got a lot of spots open there at the bottom.
I think we're about to fill it up a little bit. So let's keep rolling on this podcast with Get Rolling.
Let's get rolling, baby. Come on. Oh, Kyle, we don't share. We don't share.
No, we don't. We don't, big guy.
Okay.
Well, Nathan, I would like you to start since you're chomping at the bit to talk about
Let's get it.
I will start off on a slightly positive note. This is the album I was most afraid of based on the aesthetic of the album cover. I saw that and I was like, there is absolutely no way this is good. And we are really about to finish this discography on something terrible. And to a certain extent, we did. This is my least favorite album. But to a even further extent, it's not as bad as I anticipated it to be. But I do want to talk about something else because there's no other time to say this. Just prior to this album, Nickelback was busy releasing some of the most outrageous singles I've ever heard. Like, there's just no other better time to talk about this, so we have to briefly. They did a song for the Ryan Reynolds Will Ferrell Christmas movie called Spirited, which is crazy. They are not a band I would have chosen for that. So that's one crazy thing they did. They did a cover of Devil Went Down to Georgia, which I saw that and I was like, there's no way their guitarist can do that. And they had a guest feature for the guitarist, so that makes sense. And you know what? Surprisingly, not the worst thing I've ever heard. What might be the worst thing I've ever heard, though, is the Rockstar Sea Shanty, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It is a sea shanty version of Rockstar, and it is tough to get through.
See, that wasn't initially them though. That was a thing on TikTok that blew up from like a group that does that as a thing, and then they're like, "Hey, this was really cool. Can we jump in on it too?" So they can't really give that one. I mean, yeah, they co-signed it.
They co-signed it.
It was fucking COVID. What else were you meant to do?
That's point. Fair. Honestly, that's point, Mikey.
Honestly, I retract my statement. Fair enough.
Yeah. Chad Kroeger being 50 doing that, kind of weird, but hey, still, we're moving.
Okay, now I'll get into this album. This album is just so tiring. Like, there is absolutely nothing of note on this album beyond the first 15 seconds, which is the best part of the album. And I remember when they started posting like the clips of that song on social media, everyone was like, "Oh, Nickelback. Okay. I didn't know you had that in you. I didn't know you were going to do something with some actual bite to it." And then immediately, as soon as that 15 seconds is over, it just goes into like generic Nickelback that we've heard 1,000 times by this point. Production sounds good, can't really complain about that. But this is like the most generic Nickelback slop I think I've ever heard in my life. And at this point in the discography, I've heard it so many times. And at this point, I'm so tired of it. And I was so over it that this could be nowhere but the bottom. Like, it has been decades of songs that sounded exactly like this. And Nickelback has had some great riffs in their time. They don't do anything new on here. It's riffs we've heard before. Like, it's just so tiring. And then on top of that, we have terrible tracks. Skinny Little Missy, I don't even want to talk about it. It's just awful. Arguably worse is Vegas Bomb, which is an easy contender, in my opinion, for worse than this discography.
Nah.
Especially when they hit that crazy frog-esque bomb throughout the song. Like, it is awful.
I'd also like to say real fast, just to supplement you, Chad Kroeger was like 48 when he wrote that song and all the songs on this album. Nathan, continue.
The thing is, Nickelback may have worse songs like the ones we talked about earlier on No Fixed Address. Got me running around, Sister Sin, She Keeps Me Up. Those all might be worse songs. These songs aren't funny, though. And that's kind of the problem. I can deal with a bad song that's like hilariously bad. These songs are bad in the way that make me just want to roll my eyes. The ballads on here are as boring as could be. The songs with energy are tired, repetitive slop that Nickelback has done before. And then there's songs like Vegas Bomb. Also, actually, just looking at my notes now, tidal wave. What does loving you is just like surfing on a tidal wave mean? That's nothing. That doesn't mean anything. That's a nonsense lyric.
Nathan, we're on the same length because that's the only note I have for that song.
That's what else do you need to say? Like, it's instrumentally, it's what we've heard before. Like, this is the only thing you can talk about is the lyrics because that's all that's different about this. I hate this album.
I'd like to hear what Mikey thinks now because that was pretty scathing.
So this is your reverence, huh?
For sure.
So I definitely hear where you're coming from. But I'm going to echo the same sentiment that I said with Feed the Machine, which was, I feel like No Fixed Address just kind of fucked me up so much that I'm like, I have to it got me fucked up. Then I was kind of like waiting for that kind of classic Nickelback sound to come back, I guess. And maybe that's why I pushed this one so high. I also probably put this one a little bit higher because San Quentin used to be, before we did the States, used to be our pre-set song. So we would blast that before we walked on stage to let people know that we were coming.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because the song fucking rips.
Okay.
That being said, like song fucking rips. But I definitely like agree to that same extent where it's like there's nothing new here. Everything is very vapid. Everything is, you know, this, that, and the other. I still love Steel Still Rusts as like a kind of cowboy westerny country song. I love that shit. Like I eat that shit up like it's breakfast or coffee and cigarettes in the morning. There are some misses on here. I don't think there's as many misses as Feed the Machine or No Fixed Address. Look, to be fair, like I was at that kind of point as well where like this is at the end of the discography run before I went to Curb. And I just sat back and enjoyed it. I'm like, there's a reason why I like Nickelback. And as a good kind of mid-range album for me, this was probably that. Would I go back to it anytime soon? No, I'd rather go back to half of the other albums that are on this list. But there are a couple of bangers on here that I like would still go back to. And you know what? Fuck it. I did like Vegas Bomb because it did remind me of like that older Nickelback sound that I do like.
Okay.
So,
you know what? Fair. I hear
Steel Still Rusts is the best song on this record though. Like by a fucking country mile.
Sure. I don't care enough about it to really argue that. But you may just be thinking that's relative to the track right before it. Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing?
I didn't mind that song either. I didn't mind that
Is-
song either. I know, I get where you guys are coming from with Tidal Wave, but I didn't. I mean, after Tidal Wave, hearing that, I was like, oh, okay, thank fuck it wasn't that. It's such like a whiplashy album because you get like
It is.
San Quentin and Skinny Little Missy, and then you get Those Days, and then you get High Time, and you're like, what is going on? And then you get Vegas Bomb, and you're like, oh, cool, we're back. And then you get Tidal Wave, and you're like, oh, what? And then you get Does Heaven Even Know You're Missing, which sounds like it could have been off of, you know, like Here and Now or All the Right Reasons. And it's like, okay, like it's fine. It's a ballady song. We knew that this was coming at some point. And then you get like this, as I said, Cowboy Western song, which I really, really like. I haven't really heard them do properly since Silver Side Up. And so I was like, oh yeah, cool. And then the back end of this record, I'm like, damn, like it really did fall into that Feed the Machine aspect of like, we're just going to keep chugging out like really bland songs. That being said, I enjoyed this album a lot more than the previous 4 albums. So
That's so interesting because I feel about Feed the Machine how you feel about this album. Like Nickelback doing their thing well, as opposed to like the crazy absurdity of what they had been doing on the album before. And so it's like, oh yeah, Nickelback's kind of back. And then, you know, we're on a curve and we start curving back down with Get Rollin'. And it's like, oh, Nickelback's doing what they've been doing before. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we've had the good version of their comeback, and now this is the derivative version of it.
So yeah, I said like I feel the complete opposite way.
That's so funny. Also,
Yeah.
you'll notice this is below No Fixed Address for me. And I do feel like I have to justify that a little bit because that album is insanely bad. I almost prefer that they took the crazy swings on that album. And I was like, I'd rather hear Nickelback do something totally out of left field, totally insane, totally weird, and it totally not work than hear them do what they've been doing for actual decades. And so that
That's fair.
paired with the
I can
fact that
respect
those
that.
songs are kind of funny, I'm like, okay, yeah, I have to give it. I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed this.
I'd like to point out something really funny, which I just noticed because I've switched over to Apple Music now. So I just have like all the albums listed in one go. I find it really funny looking at the deluxe version of Get Rollin' because they have Steel Still Rusts, which as I just pretty much explained was pretty much like a slow country westerny kind of song. They have Still Rusts acoustic on the deluxe. What does that mean? what does that mean? But you just stripped away everything else from that song.
That is so funny. That is
That is
so funny.
batshit. What do you mean? Fucking hell. That's unfathomably based. Like, you know that acoustic song we did? We're going to make it more acoustic.
There are moments every now and then when I look at Nickelback's discography where I'm like, oh, this is one big joke, and I just haven't been in on it, and that definitely feels like one of them. Like, oh, this is a joke. I kind of get it all of a sudden. There's another one that I'll bring up later we haven't gotten to yet, but yeah, there are moments where I'm like, oh, I almost got it. I almost got it right there, and they almost won me over with that because that is hilarious. But alas. Kyle, do you have any thoughts on this album?
None.
Kyle.
I
Sorry, we
have
kinda
not.
neglected yours.
I mean, the fact that Chad named a song "Does Heaven Know You're Missing" when he's again like 48 is crazy. Like that's nuts to me. That really is crazy. But I am bored by pretty much everything on this album. I don't like it, and I think Nathan kind of spoke my thoughts exactly.
Does heaven even know you're missing? Well, heaven is a place where we go to die.
Oh, cringe.
Well, I mean, he's calling her name.
Shout out.
Cringe. Jesus, that was grim.
That one's for you, Mikey.
Oh, thanks, man. So I feel like actually that's probably a good point. Like we said that it's everything that like we've kind of heard with Nickelback before, and it comes back to does heaven even know you're missing. You have to remember as well as that Chad does like a lot of writing, and he probably has a lot of songs in his back catalog. And I reckon that they probably just went, oh, we need one more song to fill out the album. Chad, is there any that like you haven't sold to anyone yet?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, here's 50, pick one kind of thing. And he goes, yeah. I mean, as I said, it's classic Nickelback. Yes, he wrote it when he was 48. But I feel like when it comes to lyrical content, there is much worse.
Oh, there definitely is. It's that's like generic and whatever. There are some egregious songs lyrically.
And they fucking rock.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see about that. All right, I'm done. Please get me away from this album.
Yeah, give me. I mean, please.
Yeah. Let's move on. Right. Let's get to the good stuff.
Oh,
My number 5 is Here and Now.
We must stand together. There's no
that's my number 8.
It's my number 7.
Mikey, look on the bright side. We share a top 4.
Well, I mean, yeah,
we could
share
come back
a top 4.
around. We could come back around, but we are on different pages here. What are your thoughts on Here and Now?
So I feel like there is a run of albums to a certain degree, which are very samey, and it's probably why they wanted to change things up on No Fixed Address. And this is kind of like the end of that. I was actually re-listening to this record yesterday. There is, I said, like we're kind of getting into, at least for me, like the classic Nickelback territory of what I like from them. And so while I don't have like necessarily specific thoughts on this album as a whole, it's like that good kind of middle ground album for me. There are some fucking ripper dad rock songs on here. We were talking about the anthemic stuff before, Kyle. This Means War is a good anthemic one for me. I also just like, I don't know what it is, but I love like dad rock songs about drinking if they're done well. Bottoms Up is like a great example of that.
Classic.
When it comes to like the non-classy bullshit misogynistic shit like Midnight Queen rips as well. Like as far as like a slow song goes, like Lullaby rips as well. Holding On to Heaven as well. I actually love that song. That one's ending up in a playlist at some point that I'll probably put out. I think like the only downside I think to this record was probably Don't Ever Let It End. Like you could have easily ended on either Holding On to Heaven or Everything I Want to Do.
I mean, Everything I Want to Do is pretty bad.
There's some hilarious.
We're talking about egregious. There are some crazy lyrics in that song.
Funny damn pulls from Chad Kroger on that one.
And Gotta Get Me Some as well. Like, fuck.
Oh, and let me circle back to Everything I Want to Do. You and Me Sitting in a Tree, that line is crazy.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Just insane.
So funny.
It's hilarious. Also, the lead guitar bit is the same as like the how long melody in Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I don't know why that caught my ear, but once I heard it, I was like, oh, so this is just like, okay. Yeah, no, I recognize that. Also, Nirvana, maybe come back next month. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, dude, there are some hilarious lyrics on this album. But I think the funniest lyrics aren't even in like a super misogynistic song. When We Stand Together, I think might be the most unintentionally funniest song I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, yeah, that song's so grim. Like actually, that's probably the only bad point of this album is When We Stand Together. Going from
Dude.
This Means War rips to Bottoms Up, like fuck yeah, I want to drink a whole bottle of whiskey and pass out on my couch, to When We Stand Together is insane whiplash. And then you get Midnight Queen, and I'm like, yo, this song rips again. I'm like, what is going on?
When We Stand Together is laugh out loud funny, and like you show it to your friends funny, because it sounds like a parody of those stupid anthemic world peace. Wouldn't it be so nice if we could all just get along songs?
Yeah.
Like 100%, this sounds like something written by The Lonely Island for like, you know, a parody of like dad rock. It is so funny. And like, oh my gosh, from the that's when we all win. Like it's so
It's so bad.
how can we sleep at night with everything that's wrong in the world when we could feed a starving world with what we throw away?
That's some thought-provoking shit right there.
Exactly. He's got lyrics like that where it's like he has the perspective of a 5-year-old of the world.
Yeah.
The funny thing about like a song like Midnight Queen, and I realized this while listening to Midnight Queen, is that like Chad Kroeger, he's the Hemingway of divorced uncle like fantasy lyrics.
Oh, for sure.
He will give you like I see this beautiful, like this hot bartender, I'm gonna take her home with me tonight. And like
She
the drunk
gonna lick
uncles are
my
like,
pistol clean.
Crazy.
That is insane lyric.
the drunk uncles are like, yeah, that's gonna be
Me included.
Yeah, like he's like Hemingway for them. And so like that song, Gotta Get Some, Bottoms Up, it's all just like it's very funny.
I think I can perpetuate where I got my love for drinking songs, and it's probably because of Upon a Burning Body and Texas
Fair.
Blood Money. That is a
That's
crazy
fair.
drinking song.
That is a crazy drinking song.
But like, Mikey, you're kind of right. Like the instrumentation on this album, like sometimes goes kind of hard. And I
Mhm.
hate to admit that, but like you're absolutely right. This Means War, Bottoms Up, Midnight Queen. I'm listening. And relative to a lot of what we've talked about so far, I'm like, that's not bad. I think what really hurts this album is that whiplash. Like it is
Yeah.
so hard to go from those 3 songs to When We Stand Together, from Gotta Get Me Some directly into Lullaby. You can't
It feels like
do
a piss
that.
take. It feels like a piss take, doesn't it? Like
It's terrible.
it's like I'm
It's
gonna write a song about getting me some right into like a love song. I'm like,
It's
what is
crazy.
going on?
And to be fair, this is not the only album to do that. And I would say there are even
yeah.
like there are albums that we haven't talked about yet that are even worse about that tonal whiplash. And we'll get there. But like this album does it just to a less extreme degree on both ends than some other albums do. Those other albums, though, unfortunately, just have a couple way better songs.
Yeah, this album is also funny because, and just like on the same stream as Whiplash, you guys are talking about having Trying Not to Love You being like an actual heartfelt love song on the same album as Midnight Queen and Everything I Want to Do is funny. Like that is funny.
It is.
Oh, it's crazy.
There are some gems of Uncle Rock anthems. This is a pretty bad stale album, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does feel largely pretty stale. It's like I'll save this analogy for later for when we talk about the other album. Actually,
Okay.
yeah, I have a good analogy for this album and I guess its sister album.
Okay. So,
So
we're
on
on to the
that
next
note-
one.
I think so.
All right. Here we go. My number 4 is Dark Horse.
Mikey, we might be back.
That's my least favorite album.
Yo,
Kyle, I'm not gonna lie.
Chad,
to you,
we
there was-
back?
There was a moment in time where I had this at number 10 as well,
Yeah.
but I had a change of heart.
Did you?
And this is actually the sister album that I was just talking about with
Yep.
Here and Now, because it has that same tonal whiplash, but 1,000 times worse.
Yeah. I guess if you look at it as kind of being funny, this is number one. Like this album is
funny.
is just it is a shit salad, if you will. And my thing with this one, and you're right, and I'm not being very consistent with having no fixed address
so
at number
wrong.
5 for being funny. Same with like Feed the Machine, but this one being number 10. But stay with me here, all right? My argument for this is really just kind of going back of like taking yourself seriously while listening to this album. Like any of the songs on this album, Something in Your Mouth, for example, like having like seriously listening to this song and being like, shit bangs, like shit is good. That's crazy to me. Burn It to the Ground with the Gang Haze.
I like that song.
I like that song too.
I really don't. Sex is always the answer, and the answer is yes. It's like that is.
Oh, that's a dicey one, bro.
Dude, that's like very Dennis coded from It's Always Sunny. It's like they're not gonna say no because of the implication.
Right. Yes. It's a little bit problematic. Shaking Hands, the prostitute songs where they also have like the gang.
Dude, Shaking Hands is 100% my stripper song.
It's totally. It's absolutely. It's just like all of that combined for the album. I'm just like, or Next Go Round, the lyric, I want to do it until your parents think you're dead, is a lyric AI could not recreate. Like, I heard that. You're right. If I were in a different mood listening to this album, this would probably be top 5 because that is a very, very funny lyric. But it's like, it's hard to listen to when it's just kind of all over the album. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be taking myself seriously here. The vocal delivery throughout is kind of tough as well.
You can't say the vocal delivery in this album is hard when you have Curb at your number 6.
You're right. No,
that's fair.
Hey, that's a valid point.
Mikey.
I think I was just stewing when I wrote that comment. But it's funny when the song is like a little heavier and fast paced. It's degenerate behavior or extremely misogynistic, and when it's slower, it's self-reflective.
Yeah, it's like painfully sincere.
But it's like it's trying to be sincere, but the lyrical content is still like an inch deep. Like it's not deep at all.
Yeah,
which is funny.
Lyrical content, going back to Shaking Hands, when he says she ain't no Cinderella when she's getting undressed because she rocks it like the naughty wicked witch of the West.
Yeah, that's true. That's a funny lyric.
Funny lyric also doesn't make sense. Those are two completely unrelated stories. We got Cinderella and the Wizard of Oz. Completely unrelated. There's nothing clever here.
Like, hold the phone, folks. Hold on, Nathan, because he does reference like storybook characters often to where it gives credence to my Chad Kroeger does kind of just have the intellect and like worldview of a 5-year-old. If he's talking about the song in Feed the Machine where he's talking about like Humpty Dumpty, and now he's talking about anyway, sorry, continue.
No, you're right.
There's actually a Genius note on this.
Oh, please shed some light on it.
Oh, it's pretty much just breaking down the.
Yeah, it's pretty much just being like, so Cinderella is a Disney character, and the Wicked Witch of the West is not, and anyways.
This album. So here's the analogy I was going to mention on the last one. This album has way worse tonal whiplash between the absolutely basement dwelling, bottom feeding, degenerate behavior and the fake sincere songs. And Here and Now also has that, but to a less extreme. And the way I kind of think about these two albums in particular, Dark Horse is like a true deadbeat dad that does not care about his kids and is only interested in going to strip clubs while occasionally trying to say the right things to get back on his wife's good side when they're fighting. That's what this album feels like. Here and Now feels like a once distant father who for a period only cared about those things, but is now genuinely interested in rebuilding his relationship with his family, but occasionally falls back into his old habits, but is sincerely trying to make it right. And this album, in that sense, is so much worse and so much more irritating to listen to. So why is it higher on my list? Burn It to the Ground exists. And that song kind of goes hard. And it has some of those lyrics in it for sure. But I will always have a soft spot for that song because it is one of the songs I knew going into this whole discussion. The riff is kind of hard and it's pretty good. And I also got to say, I do like Next Go Round too. It sounds kind of Five Finger Death Punch coded, which is not great. But and that's mostly in the production with the guitars and the bass and everything. But it's better than a lot of the ballads on here and the next album. So those two songs being like above average enjoyable make it clear here and now by quite a bit. Despite all the terrible things, I mean, S is for the simple need.
That song is rough.
E is for the ecstasy. X is just to mark the spot because that's the one you really want. Guys, they thought they were cooking. They thought they were cooking. And that is one of the worst things I've ever heard. That's another contender for worst song in this discography.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
Well, Kyle, are you about to disagree that that's a contender for worst in their discography?
Oh, Sex?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a bottom three.
Yeah, that was awful. So anyways, this album, it's rough lyrically. Tonally, it is incredibly inconsistent. But some of these songs do just kind of go hard. If you can somehow filter out the lyrics and just listen to the instrumentation, pretty fun sometimes.
I don't think you can. But that's also why I love it.
I think you can on some of them, but not as much as I would like.
Some of them you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But like again, you guys are right. It is funny, and I'm gonna bring up Next Go Around again when he says, "I want to cover you with Jello in the tub. We can roll around for hours without ever coming up. Slap John Deere across my ass and ride me up and down the lawn." That's crazy. Like,
Bro was doing so much coke when
Dude, that is crazy.
Went, yo,
bro was
this lyric fire.
I mean,
but then there's the ballads, like "Gotta Be Somebody," about finding like someone you really love.
Never gonna be alone.
It's
you
like
gotta be somebody. That's a masterful horseshit radio hit. That is just a masterpiece of the worst shit you've ever heard.
Yes,
pretty much.
It's rough.
Anyway, Mikey, what are your thoughts on this album?
So who was before that said that like this is like deadbeat dad that wants to just get fucking blasted?
Yeah, it is.
I fully echo that sentiment, and that's probably why I love it. Unfathomably based Nickelback record. One of my favorite lyrics I just want to point out was from Shaking Hands, which is "Someone spilled the beans, now our name's in the press. Tough to keep it all a secret when you're one of the best. The judge is going easy because he paid for her chest. Yeah, he loves his naughty little wicked witch of the West." That is
it's crazy.
Insane.
Now, keep in mind, later in this discography, he says all the girls we were with didn't cost any money.
Again, though, that was a reflection song. I hate to be that guy, but he was like back in our hometown. But hey, my bad.
There are some interesting songs on this record. It's again like it's the whiplash thing for me. Like you have an interesting run, right? Where I feel like structurally, if they reshuffled a couple of these songs, the album would be like a little bit easier to listen to. Because I know all of these songs now, I can easily sit through and go like, oh yeah, like this is fun. Like, why did you put Gotta Be Somebody into I'd Come For You to go into Next Go Round to Just to Get High to Never Gonna Be Alone, and then having Shaking Hands and Sex right next to each other, and then to end on If Today Was Your Last Day and This Afternoon? They could honestly, they could easily scrap This Afternoon.
Oh yeah.
If they finished on Today if it was your last day, this album is fine. I mean, it'd still be in the same slot, but I'm like, This Afternoon does not need to be on the fucking record. I reckon they just got bored and wanted to do like a rock star thing again. So yeah, as I said, like I'm kind of at that point where it's like I enjoy everything that Nickelback does. Yes, you have to look over some of the lyrical content at this point.
But that's also nothing new. Like that's nothing that really sets it apart from most of their albums. So it's hard to use that as like a critiquing factor.
Yeah, you're right. I think this one was just so over the top. And when I listened to it, I was like, how could anybody take this seriously? I am putting this in the dungeon, which I realize
See,
now
here's the thing.
with my criteria is very inconsistent with how I've rated like Feed the Machine and No Fixed Address.
See, and
That's
see, here's
fair.
the thing too, and they bring this up in the documentary too. They bring up like the blowjob songs and stuff like that, which obviously appear across a few of the records. Something in Your Mouth being the main one. There are plenty of other artists and bands that have done that kind of song before.
Oh yeah.
So why is Nickelback the only one copping flack for it? Because this is right when Dark Horse came out was when like a lot of the perpetuation of like the online hate started happening. And for a couple of the songs on this record, you know, you could probably justify it. But like a lot of like the hate that they were getting was for stuff like the blowjob songs and everything like that, or the sex songs, or the stripper anthems. And it's like, well, first of all, they're really well written stripper anthems. Look at Shaking Hands. But also, like, at the time, there are so many other artists, specifically in hip hop and stuff like that, who are writing about the exact same context and are not copying flack for it.
Well, and I mean, even look at like classic rock. Like there are all kinds of classic rock songs that talk about that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude, there are so much worse things in classic rock.
Like even by like Led Zeppelin, what I would consider to be like one of the best bands of all time. Like they have songs like that, like Livin' Lovin' Maid. Like it is
Yeah.
what do you think that's about? Mississippi
Guns
Queen
N-
by it's like there's so many classic rock songs that delve into this lyrical content. It is interesting that Nickelback catches the most flack for it.
Like, I don't get why this sudden hate kind of started coming for him, specifically around, like, because a lot of it was around this subject too. Like, you're gonna hate on Nickelback because they're writing songs about getting some when every other artist at the time is also singing about that, if not a lot more provocatively. So yeah, I don't know. There's some low points in this record for sure, but I think compared to the previous discography, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad.
You know what? I'm inclined to ultimately agree with that take. I think this is the worst good Nickelback album.
Yeah.
From their peak when they were actually like incredibly culturally relevant, like they were everywhere. They were actually putting out albums with arguably really strong songs. This is the worst of peak Nickelback. And
Yeah.
even then, I mean, it has some basement dwelling lows, but it also has some pretty good tracks, like the ones I mentioned earlier that I actually kind of like Burn It to the Ground. So I clowned on this quite a bit, but I do ultimately agree with you on this one, Mikey.
Based. So should we get to my number 3, which is also probably going to cause some stirs within my camp?
Oh no. Yes, we can. Take us there.
Why do I get the feeling that this is going to be Kyle's number 8?
Just a woman will never again been in the bowl, but not like this. Seen it before, but not like this. Never before have I ever seen.
That is my number
Ooh.
one.
That's
And
my
it's
number one.
and guys,
Really?
it's not even close. I legitimately enjoy this album.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
This is the best Nickelback album. Are you kidding me?
I mean, and it's like not that close. Now, did it drop on 9/11? Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Based.
for sure did. That
The 9/11.
happened. I'll never forget.
I mean, I hope so. 9/11, never forget, Silver Cider.
The song "How You Remind Me" is like a top 100 song that's come out this century, in my opinion.
Yep, it is. It got,
Oh,
as I
yeah.
said, it got
It's-
played every 3.5 minutes on national radio when it first came out. And to add like insult to injury that everyone hated that song, they also had Hero from the Spider-Man soundtrack going at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that came out like a couple of months after. So it was just constant Nickelback. It was awesome.
Yeah. Never Again, the opening track, huge bummer of a song, if we're being completely honest here. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
got like a nice
Yeah.
redeeming ending where she shoots the guy, but like overall, kind of a bummer to listen to. Rips. That song is a banger.
But also like an inch deep.
Yeah.
It's Woke Up This Morning. Ton of energy. Good chorus. Too Bad. Another big one. This is good rock and roll, I think. And I mean, I think Good Times Gone is the only thing I have on here that says this is where Nickelback kind of started going downhill, in my opinion.
you
Oh,
fucking-
really? That song's great.
Dude, that song rips. That is up there with like perfect closer for me.
I think that's probably their best closer. I wouldn't say it's a perfect closer,
Yeah.
but I think it's Nickelback's best. Like, I love what they're doing with the lead guitar throughout that song. Like doing a kind of distorted slide guitar thing throughout it is awesome and kind of gives it that like Western feel, but like a rock version of it.
As I said, we're talking about that Western feel that I got on Still Rusts. Like, this is
Yeah, this is the good version of that.
this is the only other time that I've heard them like, kind of like really do it.
Yeah, and I like the fuzz on the guitar on the and the slides. The melody and the lyrics in the chorus, that's where it felt like they started, or at least Chad started becoming a little bit more commercial and writing to be a little more commercial. But we can agree to disagree there. I see that wasn't a very popular one amongst the masses. Nathan, why is this your number one?
I just think this is their best album. I mean, when I look at the energy that the songs carry, the massive anthemic choruses, How You Remind Me is easily Nickelback's best song. Spoiler for our Patreon bonus episode. But like, there's just really actually good stuff on here. And this to me is like one of the best dad rock albums ever written. And it's just like that whole era of early 2000s hard rock is like, it's all right here. Everything you need from that is right here on this album.
I was about to say, there is a reason why they blew up because of this record. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think my only real critiques of this album are some of the lyrics. When again, not a distinguishing factor really for Nickelback. Kyle, you mentioned Never Again being kind of a bummer. Not only is it kind of a bummer, it's kind of like an inch deep when you're looking at the how deep the lyrics actually go. It's just so blunt that it's kind of jarring when he says something like the living room becomes a boxing ring. I'm just kind of like, whoa.
Yes.
I don't know if
Whoa.
Nickelback has the depth to cover a topic like this. And another song that really stuck out as kind of being poor lyrically is Where Do I Hide? Where it sounds like that whole song is just trying a little too hard to sound badass. Like, it basically insisting that it's much harder than it actually is, with lyrics like got a criminal record, can't cross state lines, and first on the bad list and you're last on mine. It's just like so silly and goofy and over the top, and I can't take it seriously at all. And maybe I'm not supposed to. But overall, I mean, for all the negative critiques I have of this, I have that many more good things to say. Like I said, How You Remind Me is quintessential Nickelback. Easy to see why that blew up. Like, best chorus in their catalog. Massive anthemic, good times gone. We mentioned great closer. Hollywood has a sick main riff that it actually has so much bite to it. And Just For has a great chorus. So like, overall, when I'm thinking about this album, there's so many more highlights than negative things about it. And it's actually a really enjoyable listen if you're looking for something of this era. I think this is a great Nickelback album. Obviously, it's my number one.
I get that sentiment for sure. I'm going to spoil a little bit here, but realistically to me, like Silver Side Up and The Long Road, I can flip flop between 2 and 3. Like, it's in that same category for me. Like, everything that you just said, pretty much like I echo for The Long Road Home and for Silver Side Up. As I kind of said, there is a reason why they blew up from this record, and specifically from How You Remind Me. It is, when it comes to dad rock records of the early 2000s, this is one of, if not the best one. Like, to me, the only reason why it flips between 2 and 3 is because like I kind of get lulled a little bit sometimes in it. Again, there is some egregious lyrical content, but that's what we love Nickelback for.
True.
As I said, I think like, I mean, like obligatorily, you have to give Rockstar like its credit where it's due. Like, that song blew the band the fuck up. But Good Times Gone, I think, is probably their best closer. Everything that's already been said is pretty much echoing my sentiments as to why it's number 3. That being said, as I said, I've got Long Road at number 2, but realistically, you can flip between these two for me. Like, they're on the same page for me.
Oh man.
Oh
man.
Here we go. Here we go.
Uh-oh, Kyle. Uh-oh.
We're already going.
Okay, so
we're already on. We're going to Long Road.
Transitioning there.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You ready
You
to
guys
move on?
covered everything.
Okay. So your number 2 is The Long Road. And that's also my number 2.
That's
Oh,
my
I'm
number.
sorry. That's my number 3.
That's my number
bro.
3.
Oh, bro, you deserve to be shot. That is crazy.
Kyle, wait, I just realized
That
what's
is-
happening.
All the right reasons is my number 8.
No, Kyle.
That is
Okay, wait, we'll get
that
there.
is
We'll get there.
crazy.
Let's talk about the long road. That's insane. We'll get there. That's crazy.
That's fucking insane.
That's nuts.
Hey, listen, man. We can talk about the long
So-
road though. That's a pretty good album.
Yeah, let's talk about the long road.
So I had this discussion with my mate Sam. Shout out Sam or Shade Boy Media. Like there are a lot of great songs on Silver Side Up, and arguably when you put it together as like package, and for the time and everything and etc., it is arguably, as said, like one of the greatest, if not the greatest, dad rock albums. As I said, I had like a couple of lull moments with Silver Side Up though, and that's why I think initially when I made this list, I did put the long road higher. And I feel like after listening to it again, I prefer this. And it's purely just from the aspect of like a lot of the reason why everyone loves Silver Side Up is because of how big of an impact How You Remind Me had. And everyone's like, well, this is like the greatest Nickelback song of all time. And I feel like that overshadows like the rest of the record. But after listening to it like a few more times, I found myself ever so slightly, and it really does depend on the day, but ever so slightly enjoying the long road more. As to why, I don't know. Something I think just tickled me a different way just outshines Silver Side Up for me. But it's by like a quarter of an inch. Like it is not by a lot. As I said, and that's why I can flip between these two depending on what the day is.
I will say I think they are pretty close, and maybe closer than a lot of people would give them credit for.
Yep.
Because this album has songs like Flat on the Floor, which
Mhm.
I heard that and I was like, okay, hold on. This might be my favorite Nickelback album. And maybe that's putting the cart before the horse. It was the first track, but that song stood out so much because it's so energetic. The double kick pattern, like it all just goes so hard. And Chad's going for it in a way that you don't really hear a lot to the level that he goes on this song. Then it kind of regresses to the mean, maybe a little bit on the tracks following that, in my opinion. But then another real standout track on here is Because of You. Again,
Yeah.
the riff goes crazy. I was a little let down by where I thought they were taking the bridge and then where they actually took that bridge. But overall, like Because of You and Flat on the Floor are phenomenal songs. Another Hole in the Head is another one that kind of stands out too. So like,
See, I was indifferent about that song, and then I re-listened to
Really?
it again. I'm like, this song rips.
yeah, it's like it has those highs that even Silver Side Up has. Like I think there are songs on here that contend with How You Remind Me, like namely Flat on the Floor. But I do think this has a couple moments that just dip a little bit lower than Silver Side Up ever goes, namely the closing track. They fumble hard on the closing track for me.
I didn't mind See You at the Show. Sam, like my mate Sam had the same sentiment. He's like, see you at the show, like take it or leave it. I don't really care. And I'm like, really? I thought I kind of enjoyed that song.
Yeah, I think for me, like it's hard to do a song about concerts, like when the lyrical content involves a show and you have the crowd noise and all that kind of thing. Like it always comes off a little bit eye roll inducing for me personally. And so for the closing track to do that is almost like, oh, you expect a lot of a closing track, and then for a closing track to do that, I'm kind of like, oh, okay.
That's fair.
And it's not even a thing that I'm like, this is objectively bad. It's like for me personally, I don't really like songs that are like that. But it's not like the end of the world. I still think this is a very strong album, and really and truly, that's the only place it really missteps. But that one misstep cost it a spot on the list, a spot up, or 2 spots up, rather.
That's fair. Kyle, did you have anything to say about this one?
Yeah, the reason I like this album is because of the darker tone following up Silver Side Up. There are some kind of made for radio songs, but I do like the darker air and feel around this one. Like, believe it or not, I do think is nothing. Yeah, I think that one is pretty cool. Flat on the Floor, bordering on heavy with a great pace.
Flirting with it.
That's right. And overall, this wasn't a tough album to listen to. I don't think. I think for the most part, it made sense structurally. I didn't dislike my experience like I did with other albums. I mean, their first acoustic song, we should have listened, is stay away from that instrument, in my opinion, for Nickelback stylistically, because that thing was a stinker. But because of you, I think the riff on that one's phenomenal. The heavier attitude, the darker tone. It's just it's an album that didn't offend me that much, and there were moments on here that I really enjoyed with just his vocal delivery, some of the riffs. I think it's an overall pretty solid album.
I'd agree. It's a solid album. It's easy to see why this was their peak. Like, this era of Nickelback is like pretty clearly a cut above.
Oh no, so this album didn't do well.
That's fair.
So,
but like
this album, yeah, like they did really well with Silver Side Up, and they bombed on this record, like to the point they almost broke up.
So the thing I'll say about that is I can see why people didn't like this after Silver Side Up, because how do you follow up an album like that? But I think if you were looking back at their discography, this era from Silver Side Up through Dark Horse, a lot of people would consider like peak Nickelback when they were firing on all cylinders,
as we're about to get to,
as we're about to talk about. But like and I think it's easy to see. I think this 4-album run is pretty clearly a cut above everything else in their discography. I will point out one lyric that kind of makes me chuckle. In the song Someday, he says, "Now the story's played out like this, just like a paperback novel. Let's rewrite an ending that fits instead of a Hollywood horror." That's awful. That is.
Oh,
that is
yeah.
rough.
That one, I'm like, you were close to something good, and you kind of fucked it up.
Yeah. Oh, it's right there. I can see the idea he's going for. I can hear it. I'm like, oh, Chad, yes. And then he says the actual line, and I'm like, this needed maybe a couple more revisions, a couple more drafts, and then you would have had something good.
Yeah, crazy one, hey.
Yeah, but I like this album, as I do, my top 3, even my top 4.
Now let's get to the divisive one, apparently. I didn't think this one was actually going to be divisive.
Crazy.
I really didn't think this was going to be divisive.
No, well, it shouldn't be.
And I'm not saying this because I'm performing the album in full. I legitimately think this is the best Nickelback record, like without a fucking doubt.
And I get
like
that.
crazy.
I think my top 3 were all pretty close.
This one wasn't close for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I know why. The production on this album is very good. That I will.
That is.
I will give you. The rest of it, it's a lot of nothing songs. A lot of songs where it feels like
crazy.
A lot of songs where I feel like it's Groundhog's Day. Animals, that song is unremarkable to me. Side of a Bullet, that song is unremarkable to me. If everybody,
no. Animals is a top 3 Nickelback song, and it is
100%, or maybe top 5 for me.
It is the best, like, sleazy dad rock song in their discography. It's so good.
Follow You Home is a better song than that.
I was about to say Follow You Home. Follow You Home is
a better song than that. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be. And, this album is consistent, like I said, in that there's a lot of songs that just are nothing. It sounds like I'm listening to the rock of the time that is just faceless, has no personality. I don't like the ballads on here one bit. I think Photograph, that song stinks. That song is ass. I hate that song. I have always hated that song. And listening to it again, guess what? That song stinks. I dislike it more than, the lyrics on this album, and I know Nickelback isn't known for their lyricism. Once again, something to be desired. Some questionable ones. Follow You Home. You can tell me to go away and leave my life, but I'll still follow you home. Kind of like a weird thing to say. Like, the messaging is strange. In Animals, where it's like, that's my dad outside the car, is so funny.
That part is hilarious.
So funny, dude.
That is hands down arguably one of the best lyrics ever written. just for the context of the song. It is fucking insane.
It's crazy. And I don't like the implication of they must have known that she was missing. There's something about that line that I'm like,
It's like,
whoa.
Right in your car, big dog. How old is this girl? Like, what are we doing for a song called Animals? I did not enjoy that. That song, again, sonically, nothing. Lyrically, a little bit alarming, but you know, Chad does his thing in that regard. The fake tough in this album and in their discography as a whole, as we mentioned, out of control. Side of a Bullet, out of control. Next contestant, out of control. Like, for the love. I did not like this album at all. In Rockstar, the line, I'll have a quesadilla, haha, is awful. Like,
so based.
I hate this album. I don't like this album very much.
In the context of that meaning to be like the devil, like granting the wish, is so funny. Like that is gloom spec. Like I would do some shit like that.
It's so funny, but it's like, this is supposed to be a quintessential album of the 2000s, and I can't take it seriously. And I want to take it seriously because of how big this album is and how much it means to the genre. But I can't. I can't take it throughout the whole time. You know, saving me, show me what's right and show me what's wrong. It's like, you're a grown man. What are we talking about here? It's just, listen, the prestige of this album and the hopes I had listening to it, but still not being able to take it seriously and only leaving being like, yeah, the production's pretty good, but like it's mad and rock, you know, like it's just not that, it's to me not very good. So
Mikey, may I say one thing before I pass it over to you?
Of course.
Rockstar is the other moment that made me sit back and think, oh, this is one big joke, and I'm just now getting it. And it was the quesadilla line that made me think that. I was like, oh, that's actually hilarious. And Mikey, you pointing out that that's supposed to be the devil granting his wish, is even funnier.
It's so fucking
like
funny.
that is so funny. And the line right before it when he said, I want to be great like Elvis without the tassels, that in and of itself is also hilarious and potentially very tone deaf as to what their music means. But maybe not. They have 24 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But the I'll have the quesadilla, haha, is one of the funniest moments I've ever heard in any discography. Like, that is so funny.
That is such a fucking batshit line.
It's crazy. Like, and it's not even like it's like an ad lib. It's like a background vocal. Like, whoa, it's so good. It's every single thing about that moment is optimized for maximal funny factor. Like, it's so good. All right, Mikey,
It's so good.
take it away.
So we're talking about like the quintessential like dad rock album or grungy kind of like dad rock album, and that is Silver Side Up or The Long Road Home. As far as like actual quintessential album of like the mid 2000s compared to a lot of what else was going on at the time, not including all the emo stuff or etc., this would be up there. Like, this would be one of the best records from this era. All of like lyrical content aside, but like just the delivery and actual like vocal production that's on this record is really well thought out and structured. As I said, don't look at the lyrics. This is not like I don't listen to Nickelback for godly insight into someone with a 175 IQ. I'm listening to Nickelback for that kind of surface level stuff where I don't have to think too hard about the lyrics. I'm not listening to fucking Counterparts, for God's sake. Like, I'm not listening to any other band that has like the very deep, thought-provoking lyrical content. That is not, if you like that kind of stuff, then Nickelback is not for you. That is not the point. The point is to get across a delivery or a message that generally like appeases the public. That's also easy to remember. And that's why this record did so well, because yeah, sure, some of the lyrics and everything is simple, but they're all memorable, especially on the singles. As far as like well-written songs and production and everything like that, Kyle, you kind of echoed it. This is like the best produced record. I also think that like almost every song fucking rips on this record. The only song that I don't like is Far Away.
That's valid.
Yeah, Far Away stinks.
That is the only song. It's bad.
I'd also throw If Anyone Cared in there.
Yeah, I think there've been worse songs. It's fine. Like it's a take it or leave it kind of moment. I'd also like to point out that Side of a Bullet is about Dimebag Darrell and him getting shot on stage. Have your thoughts on Pantera and everything like that and etc. What I do think is cool is that the solo that's in Side of a Bullet was actually like a demo solo that Dimebag had put down right before he died. And they got permission from his estate and everything to use it as an homage to him. So it's kind of cool that Nickelback got like the last solo of one of the most influential guitarists of like the 80s and 90s.
All right, yeah, that's my bad for trashing that song. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like dude, there are so many highs in this record. Like I have a great time listening to this record every time I put it on. Even having to like learn it for this set, like I just love listening to it. There's very few moments in this record where I go, I'm going to skip that. Only because I can't, because I have to learn it. But like, there are very few moments like I would go back and just like skip. Also, Follow You Home is probably a top 3 for me. Now, I feel like the subject matter gets kind of lost a little bit. But from my understanding of the song is it's him going like, you can do all this shit to me, yada, yada, yada. But regardless, I would still like come back to you. It's kind of a very enigmatically put love song, which almost got the right tone, but I feel like the lyrical content around everything else is just so absurd and over the top.
Yeah.
That, like it kind of brings it home for me. There was fucking one lyric in this song. I was singing along to it the other day. We'll pull it up. Yeah, you can shoot me in the leg just to try and make me beg, and you can leave me there for days. There's a fucking song about him like having the key, like these tampered brakes and shit like that. Like, dude, oh, damn, this girl must be something, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's unhinged.
It's unhinged behavior. There's a lot of reasons as to why this is my number 1 Nickelback album. And it's all the right reasons.
Hello.
Yeah. There it is. Masterfully done. Yeah, my thoughts on this album, I'm way more on Mikey's side than I am Kyle's. I think this is a great album. It's very of the era in a way that kind of makes it feel like a time capsule. And I mean that positively. Like this is a fun album from the early 2000s. Follow You Home for all the right reasons. Photograph, Animals, Saving Me. Like that's maybe the best opening of any album they've had. Photograph is hilarious. Like it's a meme and all that, but it's like it's enjoyable in that sense.
It was borderline like up there with Radio Play when it came to How You Remind Me. Like everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
Like
well, it's like it's certified meme material. Like look at this graph.
It's like a cultural impact.
Yeah. Like it's so good.
Look
and
at
I do
this
think
graph.
Yeah, exactly. I will say I think Saving Me is probably a better ballad between those two songs. If you look at those,
it's the better ballad.
Saving Me is way better written than Photograph is. And I love the strings that come in there that really tie it all together. And I will say, if I had one critique of this album, and I kind of mentioned it earlier, I think there may be one or two too many ballads. Like I could do without If Anyone Cared or Far Away, but really that's it. Like other than that, this is a really enjoyable album. I mean, Rockstar is a classic. I'll Have a Quesadilla is laugh out loud funny, and it has to be intentionally funny. Like that, there's no way that was not intentional. Like it's.
I mean, yeah, dude, look at the rest of the lyrics for that song. Like
it's like ridiculous. I don't know. I like this album a lot. As with like my top 3, this is all like peak early 2000s dad rock. And there's a reason why when people think of dad rock and this sound, they think of Nickelback. Like you don't become kind of the slight that everyone uses to describe music without being the icons of that genre of music.
Yeah.
I still think with how big this album is, how influential it's been, how big so many songs on this album are, I just do not think it deserves it, to be completely honest. I don't think they're good enough. That's just me. That's just me. I'm gonna get crucified.
That is,
but folks. That's why we play the game.
You are gonna get.
That's why we play the game.
Like
Yeah, that's insane. Well, it's just like I feel so strongly that like Silver Side Up and All the Right Reasons are like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And even like to the extent that Long Road is like obviously 3. Like those are like the Nickelback albums. And you put one of them at 8? You put one of them below Here and Now and No Fixed Address and Feed
Yeah,
the
like, that's
Sheep?
crazy. I
That's
understand if you put-
crazy.
not great about the no fixed address one. That because I moved that one up. I did jump that one up, but I got to stick to my pants right now, and it ain't coming back down. I can't do that. So
That,
I even understand like why you put Dark Horse last. I understand that.
yeah, no.
I cannot
It's-
understand how you put All the Right Reasons above Curb. Like that is batshit cunt.
yeah.
Listen again. When I put no fixed address up, it kind of fucked me my rankings a little bit, but that's fine. I am locked into this, and I am. It's not moving. It ain't moving.
That's
Oh,
absolutely insane.
So
absolutely
fuck.
insane.
this is. Hey, I'm good with it.
Okay.
That's
Well-
fucking insane.
Mikey, to close this thing out, will you read us your list from 10 to 1?
My number 10 is Curb. It goes No Fixed Address. It goes State. Feed the Machine. Get Rolling at number 6. Here and Now at number 5. Dark Horse at number 4. Silver Side Up at number 3. Long Road at number 2. And of course, All the Right Reasons at number 1.
Brilliant. Mikey, we got one more thing before we truly send this thing home.
Yep.
As you may or may not have heard earlier, our Patreon has a second tier where those fans know what band we're covering ahead of time and they can send us their list. I also have one question from you from one of our patrons. So this first one's going to be from Derek, our first patron ever, longtime patron. Been sending us his list for a while. Always has the best takes, as all 3 of these people do. Potentially 4 if Seth sends me his list. Seth. But yeah, let's hear Nickelback's albums ranked by our good friend Derek.
All right, my official ranking for the greatest dad rock band of all time and the greatest thing
Nice.
to come out of Canada. In last place, Curb, The State, No Fixed Address, Feed the Machine, Get Rollin', The Long Road, Here and Now, Silver Side Up, All the Right Reasons. Also, shout out Mikey for wanting to get this episode originally, but having to come back for the sequel. Cheers, boys.
He knows the lore.
My man is
he knows the lore.
almost dead on.
Yeah, your lists were strikingly similar, like
Yeah,
concerningly so. That is awesome. I love that for you guys. Kyle, how do you feel about
I
that?
feel good about it. I'm glad we're all having fun.
Yeah, yeah, I bet. Oh, and real quick while we're here, Derek is actually the one who submitted his question, and he asked, question for Mikey, anyone you could collab with on either a song or album, one alive, one dead, who you picking?
Fuck. One alive, one dead. I think like alive, it would probably have to be Gerard Way. I know he looks dead half the time on stage, but that's just makeup.
Fair.
Yeah, it'd probably be Gerard Way. I'd love
Understandable.
to have him do like a guest vocal spot or something like that, or Chad Kroger. I think either one of them would be sick. As far as dead, fuck. Who died recently?
It doesn't have to be recent.
No, I'm just thinking. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, rack my head. It's like, who's died that I'll realistic? Oh, actually, yeah, I'll probably go Ennio Morricone. It's an orchestral artist, soundtrack artist known as Ennio Morricone. He did all the work for like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, Once Upon a Time in the West. He did like a lot of spaghetti westerns throughout the like 60s through the 90s and stuff. And he's done tons of stuff. If you've listened to if you've watched any Tarantino movie, I guarantee you there's Ennio Morricone song in there. But he died a couple of years ago, I want to say. He was like 96 to be fair. So but yeah, I feel like if there was anyone dead that I would love to collab with, would probably be him. Just because I take a lot of influence from his orchestral scores and stuff like that for Gloom. So I think that one would be cool.
That would also scratch like that Western itch you have.
Fuck knows it would.
musically. That would be cool. All right. We have 2 more lists submitted by our lovely patrons. This next one is from Lucas. His list is as follows.
All right. In 10th place, I have the State. In 9th place, I have the Curb. In 8th place, I have the Long Road. In 7th, I have Feed the Machine. 6th is No Fixed Address. 5th is Dark Horse. 4 is Get Rollin'. 3 is Here and Now. 2 is Silver Side Up. And 1 is All the Right Reasons. All right. Thank you.
Based.
Respectable.
Get rolling pretty high there, buddy. That's
Get rolling is pretty high there. I'm surprised, honestly.
Here and Now also pretty high. Yeah, overall good list. Can't really complain, but that's what we do on this show, so I will.
I'm waiting for a sinker like Kyle's list.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
well,
not gonna happen.
Maybe our newest diehard patron will provide you a stinker. This is Nathaniel's list.
Nickelback album rankings. Let's go. Starting at the bottom. Number 10, Curb. 9, The State. 8, Dark Horse. 7, Get Rollin'. 6, Feed the Machine. 5, No Fixed Address. 4, Silver Side Up. 3, Here and Now. 2, The Long Road. And my favorite Nickelback album is All the Right Reasons. Peace.
He got that number 1 right for you, but he also had
Let's
the
go.
Long Road really low.
And No Fixed Address so high. Daniel, what are you doing? What, bro, what? Did you just check out during that album? Like, oh, brother. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Nathaniel, thank you. You interact with us a ton on the Patreon. I see it. I see all of you, and I appreciate all of you so much for your ongoing support of this show. Hopefully Seth sends me his list. This is the 2nd episode in a row. He's been a little bit tardy, but we can forgive it. And if he sends it, I'll play it right now. And that's where it'll go. Wow, what a great list.
We'll just say it was dog shit.
What?
Wow, what a terrible list. What is he?
Wow, what a terrible list. We're going to get both.
Revoke
records in case
revoke
it's
his
bad.
membership. Revoke his Patreon
No.
for that list.
Seth, we love you. We would never. Well, guys, I think that about does it for this one. I am free from my
Wunderbar.
chains, my Nickelback chains, except not really because I have to edit this episode. And all the shorts. Thanks, Mikey.
I was about to say, and all the content.
Anyways, it's all good. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Mikey, thank you so much for being here. This was an absolute blast, putting Nickelback on blast.
Thank you for sitting through this hostage situation with me. I'll
Hey,
now release it to
it's-
the public.
It's truly my pleasure. Next time you come back, we'll have to do a good band.
They are a good band.
They are a band.
Sometimes.
They are a band.
Play that clip. Play that clip from the Deadpool interview where he just rattles off like all the awards and everything they've won.
Hey, that's fair. That's fair. They're a successful band. We can say that. Guys, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next one.